Just the other day, me gonna roots meditation. When I heard some roots men, Rasta man, they've been in some deep meditation. Me say, deep, deep meditation. And the dread them start talking some real roots man stuff. And them say, man, if you can't reach on time, reach on purpose. Ain't that right, Rasta? Deep, deep meditation. I heard the dread them in some deep, deep meditation. Deep, deep meditation. I heard the dread them in some deep, deep meditation. Deep, deep meditation. I heard the dread them in some deep, deep meditation. Deep, deep meditation. I heard the dread them in some deep, deep meditation. And one of the dread them said, listen, Rasta.
So let's go to Psalms 119, verse 1 down to 5. And the prevention of death is when one departs from his own ways and seek after Jehovah with all their heart, mind, soul, and strength. The death is the separation from Jehovah in His Word. And we must prevent that from happening by hearkening to His voice and keeping His commandments. Because there's many ways that we can be caught up and be on a path towards death, that separation. But we have instructions on what we need to apply to our lives to prevent that from happening. So let's go to 119 verse 1 through 4 of Psalms. Blessed, knowledge, wisdom is given, are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Spirit of God. So that law is those commandments, those statutes and judgments that He has given us to keep. So we walk, our lifestyle is going to be in the commandments of the Spirit of God in an undefiled way. And we know that all the world's way is defiled. So we must keep the way of the Spirit of life of Jehovah, so that we can be undefiled in that way, in His way. Verse 2, blessed are they that keep His testimonies and that seek Him with the whole heart. So if we keep His testimonies with our whole heart, verse 3 says, they also do no iniquity. They walk in His ways. So we see this is how we walk in His ways, by keeping His testimonies and seeking Him with the whole heart. And that's how we walk in the law of the Spirit of God, undefiled. Being blessed with this knowledge that He gives us, not leaving us lacking with any understanding, but enlightening us to the ways of spirit and truth, and how to combat against the ways of this world that can pull you or draw you away from the undefiled way that we supposed to be walking in his testimonies and seeking him with the whole heart. Verse 3, they also do no iniquity, they walk in his ways. Verse 4, thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. This is a law. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently. Verse 5, oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. So let's go to Proverbs 14, verse 27. The fear of the Lord, the fear of the Spirit of God, is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. So this is our main scripture that we need to hearken unto and break down so that we can really truly get the understanding on how to depart from the snares of death, which is a fountain of life. So the fear is on page 1526, and that's to reverence or desire. Reverence is on page 1574, and that's to worship, to have devotion, or respect. And that devotion is on page 1501. Devotion is application, faith, to commit, to be loyal, and have dedication. And the respect is on page 1574, which is to regard, honor, esteem, have consideration, and obey. So we see this is a submission that we must do, that fear, that desire, that reverence. That reverence. So to esteem is on page 1509. Esteem is to value, respect, honor, regard, and reverence. Going back to that same desire, that fear. So the fear, that reverence, that desire is a fountain of life. That reverence or that desire of the Spirit of God is a fountain of life. So that desire that we're going to have towards the Spirit of God, to hearken to His voice, to submit ourselves. So Proverbs 14:27. The fear or the desire, the reverence of the Spirit of God is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. So we already seen what fear was. So let's see what that fountain is. Fountain is flowing water, the increase of knowledge. And it's a fountain, so of life. So that increase of knowledge of life which we shouldn't depart from, because this is our strength and this is our comfort within while we're walking on this journey through life. So that fountain is going to nourish us, is going to instruct us, give us guidance through that knowledge that the Spirit of God gives us. That's a reward of us having that desire or having that reverence toward Him, keeping His promise. To depart from the snares of death. So fountain is on page 1529. And it's flowing water, well, a spring, life-giving, source and origin of increase of knowledge. Alright, now let's go to depart. Depart is page 1500. And it's to leave, withdraw, go, refrain, separate. Snares, to depart from the snares. Snares are on page 1532, and it's a gin or a trap. And the trap is on page 1591, and it's a gin, a lure, or a temptation. So let's break it down some more. The temptation is on page 1589, and that's the provocation. Provocation is on page 1569. That's provocation is rebellion, disobedience, or defiance. So we see those snares aren't a good thing. They get us to turn away from Jehovah's way of life, His undefiled way. And so snares, we seen what snares was, of death. So they work hand in hand. First it's going to snare you. It's going to get you to rebel, to be disobedient or defiant. And then after that comes the death. Page 1499, which is the end, eternal separation, separation from Jehovah, ruin, and condemnation. Condemnation is on page 1495, and that's damnation, curse, wrath, and a sentence. A sentence of a curse, a sentence of wrath, a sentence of damnation against you or me if we choose to rebel, be disobedient, and go astray, being defiant, go astray from the way that He instructed us to go. We won't receive that fountain of life that will water us, but we will be dry. We will have void of understanding, that lack of knowledge. That's why that destruction comes, which brings that death. And the condemnation is on page 1495. Damnation, curse, wrath, sentence. Curse is on page 1498, and that's woe, affliction, plague, and wrath. So the desire or the reverence of the Spirit of God is a fountain, a flowing water, a well, spring, life-giving source and origin of increase of knowledge. To depart, to leave, withdraw, refrain, or separate from the lures, temptations of rebellion, disobedience, and defiance of that separation from Jehovah, that end of eternal separation and of condemnation, of that woe, of that plague, of that curse, of the wrath, and the things that we suffer from even to this very day as a nation of people, because we rather go to men that have no understanding or that fountain of life within them. The Spirit of God speaks through His messengers, which is going to give you that water, that fountain of life, that where we go, that wellspring, life-giving source and origin of increase of knowledge. That's what His messengers do. So let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 5, 12, 20, 24 through 26, and 29. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the songs of fools, because those songs of fools is a snare. For verse 12, for wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense, but the excellency of knowledge, that fountain of life, is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. So I hope we see where that fountain of life is produced from, that wisdom from above and not from below. That wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Verse 20. For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. So we can't put our trust in man to give us that fountain of life, because we are all wicked if we don't hearken to that Spirit of God. But if we submit and have that desire, have that reverence toward our shepherd, then we can receive understanding. We can receive that knowledge. We can receive from that fountain of life, so that we can depart from death, and also we can teach others what we've learned and what we've experienced on this journey by being guided by the Spirit of Jehovah, to teach them which way to go and steer them the right way, and not have them to fall into the snares of death. 24 through 26. That which is far off and exceeding deep, who can find it out? I applied mine heart to know, and to search, and to seek out wisdom, and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, in her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Jehovah shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So whoso pleaseth we can only please Jehovah by keeping his word, doing the things that he commanded us to do. So we're going to be delightful, satisfying, appeasing, and pleasing is on, I'm sorry, I read please. So pleasing is on page 1566, and it's to agreeable, acceptable, and to gratify. So whoso is agreeable or acceptable, which is that undefiled way, walking and living in that way of Jehovah, that undefiled way, pleaseth Jehovah, shall escape from her. But the sinner, those that are defiled, those that have departed from that fountain of life, shall be taken by her, taken by that death, and taken by those snares of death. And let's go to 29. Lo, this only have I found, that Jehovah hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. And these inventions is what keeps us in those snares, keeps us in the way of death and not the way of righteousness, because we're using our own minds. We're not desiring Jehovah. We're not desiring his commandments. We're not reverencing him, but we're reverencing ourselves, our own mind. Let's go Proverbs 3:1 down to 8. 1 to 8. Proverbs 3:1. My servant, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of Jehovah and man. Trust. Believe in the Spirit of God with all thine heart. Rely on him. And lean not unto thine own understanding. Let's go back. Let's finish it up. And in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Verse 7. Be not wise in thine own understanding. Fear, that's that kicker. Desire, reverence the Spirit of God, and depart from evil. So with that desire of the Spirit of God, including departing from evil, and being not wise in thine own understandings, we can trust in the Spirit of God with all thy heart. And we have to acknowledge him in all our ways, so that he can direct our paths away from those snares of death. But it says right here in Ecclesiastes 7:29, lo, this only have I found, that Jehovah hath made man upright. But they have sought out many inventions. They have trust in their own ways. They have leaned unto thine own understanding. They direct their own paths and don't acknowledge him. They do contrary to the ways of not being undefiled, because they love to be wise in their own eyes, and the fear is not in them, the fear of the Spirit of God, because they love to do evil. Genesis 6:5, and Jehovah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So when you see a man that say he's never sinned and he could teach you the ways of God because he believes he's holy within himself, believe him not, because those are inventions that is going to snare you unto death. It's going to trap you. It's going to lead you to rebellion against Jehovah, which is contrary to fleshly ways and the pride of men. So let's go to, we can't rely on self nor the thoughts of men that are here to catch us in the traps of destruction unto death. But instead we must diligently hearken to the one voice that speaks instructions of righteousness unto life, and keeps us out of the way of vain imaginations of the heart. The word of Jehovah is the fountain that will give us life abundantly, if we keep the words we have learned from the Holy One of Israel in our hearts, and we must have that desire to and devotion of reverence to commit, apply, dedicate, and be loyal unto our Savior and true guide of Israel. Proverbs 13 and 13 through 15. Whoso despiseth the word, and let's go to some real fast. Let's go to John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word. That same word, whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed. But he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Verse 4, in him was life, and the life was the light of men. Those instructions that'll guide us, that'll give us the commandments that'll keep us from going towards those snares and being caught. In him was life. So this is who we must be seeking after, that word. Every man doesn't have this word in them. We must understand and discern who has the life in them, who has that word of life or that light of men in them. Because everyone doesn't have that light. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. So this is how we know that everyone doesn't have this light, because most of us is in darkness. We can't see from our left hand from our right hand. We have no discernment. We can't tell from a real teacher from a false prophet. The law of the wise is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. And his word is law. So when you despise that word, you despise that fountain of life. This is why you are destroyed, for that lack of knowledge, to depart from the snares of death. "15. Good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard." Isaiah chapter 55, 10 through 11. "For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please." Going back to that. "And it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." Like I said, everyone is not going to have it, but we must diligently seek after those that do have it, so that we can get that increase of knowledge, that fountain of life, so that we can depart and keep the law within our hearts and depart from the snares of death. Deuteronomy 18, 18 through 19. "Will you follow instructions so that you can receive that fountain of life?" 18 and 19 of Deuteronomy 18. "I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak, which he is commanded to speak, in my way, that undefiled way, I will require it of him." Because he's sending us warnings, and he's sending us instructions on the way to walk undefiled. But he's also sending us warnings because there are snares and traps that can lay hold to us and have us to rebel if we don't desire that word that he puts within those prophets. That's why it says, "I will require it of him." Because if we depart from this way, we will be trapped in the ways of death. John 4 and 13 Salvation answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. Speaking of a carnal well. Let's go to 11 down to 12. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast not nothing to draw. Oh, let's go up. Let's start at 7. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Salvation said unto her, Give me to drink, for his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Verse 9. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, a follower of Jehovah, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Salvation answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of Jehovah, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him. You would have had that desire. You would have had that reverence. Because you would have had that discernment to see. To see who was speaking to you. Not the man, but the spirit. He was speaking spiritual things to her. But she was lacking that knowledge. So that's why he said that to her. Give me to drink. Thou wouldest have asked of him. Because he would have gave her that fountain of life. That that increase of knowledge, that life-giving source and origin of increase. But she was looking carnally upon our ancestors. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing. Oh, wait. If thou knewest the gift of God, who it is that said to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Let's keep going. I had a thought, but never mind. And the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Perfection and beauty, thou greater than our father Jacob? Looking towards a carnal man. Which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle. 13. Salvation answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. Speaking of the carnal water. Because we always need water to drink. But whosoever drinketh of the water, that knowledge that I shall give him, shall never thirst. Whosoever drinketh of this water that is carnal is going to need more carnal things to appease that appetite. It's never going to be enough. It's never going to fill that belly. That's why hell is never hell had to stretch itself out because it's always abundance of these traps and snares and people that are destroyed for that lack of knowledge because they rather reverence men or desire the knowledge of this world rather than that wisdom from above. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, because you're not going to be lacking. It's going to appease you. It's going to give you life. What else do we need besides life? But the water that I shall give him shall be in him, or that knowledge, but the knowledge that I shall give him shall be in him, a well. Going back to that fountain of water, springing up into everlasting life. So we see that these prophets come to give us that well of water springing up into everlasting life. But will we be hard-headed? Will be stiff-necked and not hearken, so that we can receive that reward? Or will we receive that condemnation, that damnation unto death? It's our choice. It's up to us which side we will choose. But he lays it all out for us. Sirach 15:17. Or Ecclesiasticus 15:17. All right, let's see. Let's start at 13 and go down to 17. The Lord hated. Oh, wait. No. Let's start at 15. Yeah, I'm sorry. If thou wilt to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness. No, let's start at. I'm sorry. Let's go to 12. Say not thou, he hath caused me to err, for he hath no need of the sinful man. 13. The Creator hateth all abomination, and they that fear desire God. Jehovah loveth it not. 14. He himself made man from the beginning, and left him in the hand of his counsel, that word which was spoken from the beginning, to give us instructions. We was made from the beginning, and he gave us the word from the beginning. And that word was our God. John 1:1. Sirach 15:15. If thou wilt, providing thou wilt, to keep the commandments, to keep those precepts that'll keep you in the way. Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. If thou wilt, to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness. He hath set fire and water before thee. Stretch forth thy power unto whether thou wilt. We have that option, like I said. We have to make the decision to turn towards him with all our hearts, mind, soul, and strength, so that we can receive that fountain of life, so that we can depart from the snares of death. 17. Before man, in the presence of men, is life and death, and whether him liketh shall be given him. Psalms 147. (12, 15, 18 through 20). 12, 15, 18 through 20. Praise the Spirit of God, O Jerusalem. Praise thy God, O Zion. 15. He sendeth forth his commandment upon earth. His word runneth very swiftly. 18 through 20. He sendeth out his word and melteth them. He causeth his wind to blow, and the waters flow. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So why are we learning from other nations? Why are we learning from other people that don't have that word within them? That this is the only way we can receive that increase of knowledge is through that word. And he hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his teachings and doctrines, his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Spirit of God. Because he only chose one. Isaiah 55, 12 through 13. We must have discernment on who has the Spirit within them. You can't go after everyone. You can't learn from everyone. Because if we do, we will fall in the snare. And that damnation, condemnation, and that death, separation from Jehovah will come. But this is the flip side if we do hearken to those that he sent out his word to, that he showeth his word to, those that reverence him and diligently seek after him through precepts and not their own vain imaginations and inventions. For ye shall go out with joy, Isaiah 55, 12 and 13. For ye shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree. And this is what that increase of knowledge will bring, that will reward us. That water, when it's watered upon the earth, it won't be dry and brittle. It won't be thorny, full of thorns and briars. But it will be fruitful. Come up the fir tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree. And it shall be to the Spirit of God for a way, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. So it ain't no end. Like we see if you get caught up in that snare, there is an end to you because you didn't diligently seek after what was right, what was pleasing in Jehovah's eyes, but you seeked after the things that was pleasing to your own eyes and leaned to thy own understanding. You didn't desire that knowledge, so you lacked it and was destroyed because of it. Numbers 23 and 19. We can trust in Jehovah. We cannot put our trust in man. He will not fail us. His word is true. Alright. So we see Numbers 23:19. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? This is why we can trust in Jehovah, in that word. But we see, if we have the eyes to see, that in the world there are men that despise this word, that despise precepts, and others seek after them for knowledge, and they love it. But we see that the Bible is contrary to men, and that God is not a man, but they believe God is a man. So who is the liar? Let's go to it. Jeremiah 17:5. They won't teach you this in Sunday school. Thus said the Spirit of God, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Spirit of God. It says right here, for he shall be like the heath, them briars and thorns, in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, trapped in those snares, in a salt land and not inhabited. Wisdom and knowledge 7 is the man that trusteth in the Spirit of God, and whose hope the Spirit of God is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. Those are those fir trees and those myrtle trees that we see in Isaiah chapter 55 verse 13. Let's get back on that heart. Verse 9, the heart is deceitful above all things. This is that snare in the midst of us. And desperately wicked. Who can know it? That's why we must circumcise it. And fill it. Circumcise our heart and fill his temple with goodly things that he has given us through his instructions. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Have he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? He's telling us right here, if we fear him, that's the whole lesson, fearing him, so that we can depart from those snares of death. But we rather choose men over God because we think a man is God. How foolish is that? If we just look into the scriptures and see that Numbers 23:19a, God is not a man. Right here. He sent his word into men, those prophets that we read in Deuteronomy 18. Jesus was a prophet, not a man. If Jesus was a God, he would be a snare. He would be a trap. Because you depart yourself away from the one true living God, that word of life, that fountain of living water, and you render up and reverence a dead man that we could see died in the Bible, because none of us was here then, but we can read what happened to that man and how he was rewarded with that same fountain of life, because he never touched death, that second death. He died to that first death, and Jehovah resurrected him to be his vessel, his mouthpiece, when he was buried in that water, in that watery grave, when he was baptized by John. I'm sorry about that. So let's go down to 21 through 23. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Spirit of God his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. Jehovah brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath God wrought? And wrought is on page 1598, and it's accomplished, created, fashioned, produced, performed, built, or labor. So what have the let's go. So what have Jehovah performed? He has performed his sure mercies of giving us an increase of knowledge through his word. Give us a reviving, giving us nourishment, giving that abundance of knowledge through that fountain of life. Let's go to Baruch. Baruch 3, 2 through 4, 6 through 14, 22 through 23, 27 through 28, 31 through 33, 35 through 36. Hear, O Creator, and have mercy, for thou, perfection and beauty, merciful, and have pity upon us, because we have sinned before thee. For thou endurest forever, and we perish utterly. O Creator Almighty, thou guide of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. Those are now separated in this world, and of their children, which have sinned before thee, and not hearkened unto the voice of thee their guide, for the which cause these plagues cleave unto us. 6 through 14. For thou, perfection and beauty, the Creator our guide, and thee, O Creator, will we praise. And for this cause thou hast put thy fear, thy desire, in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy way, and praise thee in our captivity. For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers, that sinned before thee. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Creator our God. Hear, O Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. How happeneth, Israel, that thou, perfection and beauty, in thy enemy's land, that thou, perfection and beauty, waxen old in a strange country, that thou, perfection and beauty, defiled with the dead. Because we see that we're not walking in his ways. That thou art counted with them that go down into the grave. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom. For if thou hast walked in the way of Jehovah, thou shouldest have dwelt in peace forever. Learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where is length of days and life, and where is the light of the eyes and peace. It's in that word that word from that beginning, that word that is God, that word that is God unto Israel. 22 through 23. It have not been heard of in Canaan, neither have it been seen in Teman. So we can't go to these other nations, like I said. The word wasn't given to them. The Agarenes, that seek wisdom upon earth. And we know that's a trap if we try to seek wisdom upon earth. Because this wisdom upon earth is sensual and devilish. It's contrary to the ways of above that Jehovah has instructed us to do. The merchants of Meron and of Teman, the authors of fables, and searchers out of understanding, none of these have known the way of wisdom or remember her paths. 27 through 28. Those did not the Creator choose. He didn't choose these other nations. Neither gave he the way of knowledge unto them. No. We seen that he only gave his word to his word to Jacob, his statutes and principles unto Israel. 28. But they were destroyed because they had no wisdom and perished through their own foolishness. And this is why we go through the same things today as a nation, because we follow after those other nations that seek wisdom from the earth and do enchantments and other things. Authors of fables. Christianity is nothing but a fable. And it was authored by Satan. 31 through 33. Going back to that man. This is that man that is uncircumcised. No man knoweth her way, nor thinketh of her path. Because they don't desire, they haven't diligently seeked after wisdom. 32. But he that knoweth all things knoweth her, and have found her out with understanding, with his understanding. He that prepared the earth forevermore hath filled it with four-footed beasts. He that sendeth forth light, and it goeth, calleth it again, and it obeyeth him with fear. So how can Jesus be God when he said that he was the light of men? Speaking about that light that was sent forth. Jehovah, that's the light of men. Not the flesh. The flesh is dark. That's void and darkness. It can't see those snares and traps that lead to destruction and to that death. Only that light can shine upon that darkness, so that we can see what we've been up to and been doing, so that we can remember to come out of those ways of the flesh, out of those ways of those traps and snares, out of those ways of death, unto his marvelous light, that fountain of life. We can understand and see who gives it to us. That enlightenment that we need to even go forth to seek after that spiritual water, that spiritual flowing spring of knowledge. 35 through 36. This is our guide, that word. and there shall none other be accounted of in comparison of him. He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and hath given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. Psalms 147. 6 through 7, 9 through 11. The Spirit of God lifted up the meek. He casteth the wicked down to the ground. Sing unto the Spirit of God with thanksgiving. Sing praise upon the harp unto our God. He giveth to the beast his food, and to the young ravens which cry. He delighteth not in the strength of the horse. He taketh not pleasure in the legs of a man. The Spirit of God taketh pleasure in them that fear him, in those that hope in his mercy. Psalms 36, 7 through 10. How excellent is thy loving kindness, O Jehovah, O God. Therefore the children of men put their trust under the shadow of thy wings. They shall be abundantly satisfied with the fatness of thy house, and thou shalt make them drink of the river of thy pleasures. For with thee is the fountain of life, in thy light shall we see light. O continue thy loving kindness unto them that know thee, and thy righteousness to the upright in heart. Let's go to Proverbs 13:9. 9 through 12. Oh, Proverbs, I'm sorry. Nine through 12. The light or the understanding of the righteous rejoiceth, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well advised is wisdom. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. I'm going to make a part 2 on this. The prevention of death. We must diligently seek after that Spirit of Jehovah, so that we won't fall into the snares, the traps that lead us unto death. So Proverbs 14:27. The desire of the Spirit of God is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. And this is Evangelist Smith with the King James Bible University, straight out of Compton, in the house of the Lost Sheep of Israel. and we are not affiliated with any Chaldean camp doctrine of Babylon. We are not correlated, have no coalitions with the theological perspective of Christian doctrine. We do not do the things of this world by learning through concordances and reference books, but we use precepts diligently that are in the King James Bible, the 1611, with the Apocrypha. We do not support any black spirituality movements, any false prophets, because there are many false prophets that lean to their own understanding and do enchantments. We do not agree with any FBA or RBG movements. We stand alone, and we can prove that we stand alone through the word that was sent from above, that wisdom, that fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. And this is Evangelist Smith. Shalom.
You keep on telling me your lies. You think
South,
that I have got
King,
tears after cries.
please.
You gotta know I'm way too good at goodbyes. It's your time, your time. Bye bye.
South, King, please.
You keep on telling me your lies. You think that I have got more tears after cries. But you gotta
South,
know I'm way
South
too
King,
good at goodbyes.
please.
It's your time, your time. Bye bye.
South, King, please.